Namaste and welcome. In this video, I'll be explaining Nepal's budget for the year 2081-82. That's 2024-25 in English calendar. This budget brings new plans, tax changes, and development targets. I'll be explaining all the important parts simply and tell you what they mean for people like you and me. So let's get started. Firstly, let's begin by understanding what budget really is. Budget is that long, serious government announcement that makes you want to take a power nap until you realize it decides how much tax you pay and whether your roads are gonna get fixed or not. This year, the budget of Nepal has increased by 6.2% compared to the last year's. Nepal's total budget for this year is 1860.3 billion, out of which the maximum portion, which is 1140.66 billion, is for day-to-day government expenses, which takes the majority amount of the budget. And NPR 352.35 billion is for development like roads, schools, and hospitals, whereas NPR 367.28 billion is for managing loans and interest. So what are the sources of income for the government? 1260.3 billion rupees will come from the taxes we pay, which is the majority of the funds. NPR 52.33 billion will come from foreign grants, and whereas NPR 547.67 billions will come from loans. This year, government expects 5.5% economic growth and 6.3% inflation. This implies that more government borrowing means more debt in future. Inflation may affect daily living costs for us. If growth is achieved, more jobs and income will be created. Now let's discuss the budget goals and priorities for this year. The budget for this year has five main goals. First one is to create jobs and increase production. Second one is to boost private sector and attract investments. Third one is improve public services. Fourth one is reduce poverty and inequality. And last but not the least is develop skills and education. The main focus areas for this year are agricultural sector, IT sector, tourism sector, energy and infrastructure, education and health, good governance and social security. Now let's talk about the major plans of the government for this year. The government has unveiled a bold vision to transform Nepal into IT hub within the next 10 years. The target is ambitious. Export IT services worth rupees 3000 billion and create 15 lakh jobs in the tech sector. A true digital leap for Nepal's economy and youth. To boost tourism and regional identity, Janakpur will be promoted as a wedding hub, attracting cultural and religious tourists from all around the world. Likewise, Lumbini will be developed as a birthing hub, blending spirituality and wellness with modern healthcare. Special events will be supported to promote Nepal's rich religion and culture, strengthening tourism and national pride. To make the most of the foreign income, a sovereign wealth fund will be created using remittance, channeling money into long term development. Finally, new investment friendly laws will be introduced to make doing business in Nepal easier, paving the way for innovation, entrepreneurship, and international partnerships. From IT to tourism, culture to commerce, Nepal is setting its sights on future. Now let's see how the allocation for the funds have been done sector wise. Firstly, let's talk about the agricultural sector. The government has announced that the next 10 years from 2081 to 2091 BS will be the decade for investment in agriculture. Rupees 57 or 29 crore has been allocated for agriculture. This includes crop farming, livestock, and fisheries. Key plans in agriculture are contract farming will be promoted. This means farmers, the government, and the businessmen will work together so that farmers get the fair prices and a guaranteed market. Rupees 1 or 44 crore is allocated for the fruit sector. Focus will be on oranges, apples, mangoes, and bananas. All three levels of government will work together to promote and export fruits. Rupees 27 or 95 crore is allocated as subsidy for fertilizers. Both chemical and organic cold storage facility will be built at international and major domestic airports. Auction centers will be set up in big cities to sell crops, fruits, and livestock. Rupees 38 crore has been allocated to develop better breeds of cows and buffaloes. Rupees 40 crore will be spent on livestock vaccination. Rupees 2 or 25 crore will be for sugarcane farming promotion. Rupees 3 or 52 crore will be allocated for research and development to introduce 75 new agricultural technology. The government will also allow commercial production of marijuana for medical purposes under legal rules. So, what are its implications? These plans to aim uh, to modernizing farming, increase exports, and make agriculture a better job option for young people. So now let's talk about the IT sector, which is one of the emerging sectors in Nepal. The government has declared 2081 to 2091 BS as the decade of information technology. Rupees 7 or 35 crore has been allocated for this sector. The main goals are to create 15 lakh jobs in IT sector, achieve IT exports worth rupees 30 crore. So what is government willing to do to achieve these goals? Rupees 59 crore is set aside to improve digital Nepal framework. This will help make internet faster, safer, and more affordable. IT parks will be developed in Kathmandu and Butwal, and a knowledge park will be created in Kumaltar, Lalitpur. Nepali made softwares will be used more in public offices. Government data centers will be upgraded for better security. Broadband internet will be expanded to all wards, public schools, and health posts. So, IT could become Nepal's future powerhouse. If implemented properly, this will create jobs and make Nepal a global tech exporter. So now let's talk about tourism sector. Tourism sector is one of the most important and major contributor to government revenues. Rupees 11 or 91 crore has been allocated for tourism. The government plans to welcome 16 lakh tourists this year by promoting old and new tourist spots. What's in the plan? Events and road shows will be held in India, China, and other countries to attract tourists. From Nepal India border points, transport will be arranged to religious sites like Pashupatinath, Swargadwari, and Muktinath. Rupees 5 or 46 crore will be spent on trekking routes like the Great Himalayan Trail and building rescue centers. Janakpur will be promoted as a wedding hub and Lumbini as a birthing hub. Adventure tourism like paragliding, skydiving, and ultra lights will be launched using underused hill airports. Rupees 3 or 77 crores will be used for upgrading major airports. New terminal at Tribhuvan International Airport. Work begins as at Nisgar International Airport. Upgrades in Surkhet, Rolpa, Dang, and Jumla, Biratnagar, Dhangari, Nepalganj. If executed well, this will bring in more foreign currency and create jobs in rural areas through tourism. Moving on to the next sector, which is energy. Rupees 50 arba 74 crore has been allocated for energy sector. So what are the goals of the government in energy sector? First goal is to add 900 megawatt of power to reach total of 4500 megawatt total capacity. Another one is focus on projects like Budi Gandagi and Upper Arun to export power to Bangladesh. Private sector will be encouraged to build transmission lines and invest in hydropower. Detailed studies will be done for big hydro projects like 1200 megawatt Budi Gandagi, 670 megawatt Dudh Kosi, 470 megawatt Nal Singad, uh, 280 megawatt Naumure. Fossil fuels will be gradually replaced by clean energy to reach net zero carbon by 2045. 100 megawatt of solar power will be added through private investment, but excise tax on electric vehicles has been increased by an average of 10%. So what does all this imply? Nepal is moving towards energy independence and clean energy, but the EV tax increase may slow down the green transport goals. Another sector is entrepreneurship and industry. Rupees 11 arba 91 crore has been allocated to promote industry and entrepreneurship. So what's included? Rupees 7 arba for boosting domestic production, exports and jobs by involving all government levels and the private sector. Make in Nepal, Made in Nepal campaigns will be launched. Provinces will be developed as special economic zones, SEZs. Kosi will be developed as industrial, Madhes will be developed as agricultural, Bagmati will be developed as IT, Gandagi will be developed as tourism, Lumbini will be developed as SMEs, Karnali will be developed as herbal, and Sudur Pashchim will be developed as religious tourism. Rupees 2 arba for Gandagi economic triangle, connecting Bharatpur, Butwal, and Pokhara to boost industry and tourism. New industrial states will be built in Daisy, Kanchanpur, Banke, Rupandai. Existing ones in Makwanpur and Chitwan will be upgraded. Rupees 1 arba to promote startup and provide financial helps to entrepreneurs. Business incubation center will be started in all provinces. A woman-focused exhibition center at Chobar and Koseli House will be built to help women entrepreneurs sell their products. Legal rules will be made for producing and marketing domestic liquors. So, what are the implications? This could boost local industries, support young entrepreneurs, and create jobs, especially if funds are used well. Now, let's talk about some other allocations. Let's begin with health, one of the most important areas of our country. This year, rupees 86 arba 24 crore has been allocated to improve healthcare across Nepal. Here's how the government plans to use it. Rupees 15 arba 41 crore is set aside to make basic health services better and free, and to complete construction of unfinished hospitals. Rupees 3 arba 60 crore is allocated for mother and newborn care programs under the Mother Protection Plan. Financial help has been promised for people suffering from serious illness like heart diseases, kidney failure, cancer, Alzheimer's, spinal injury, and anemia. Rupees 3 arba for this purpose. Rupees 2 arba is allocated for senior citizen healthcare. Rupees 7 arba 50 crore will be used for health insurance coverage to help more people afford medical care. Let's look at the hospital and infrastructure part. ICU facilities for burn patients will be expanded at Bir Hospital and Kirtipur Burn Hospital. Berry Hospital will be developed as center for sickle cell anemia treatment. Patan Mental Hospital will be improved and liver transplant services will be launched at Patan Academy of Health Science. Many regional hospitals will be upgraded to 500 bed capacity. Federal hospitals will start offering MBBS and nursing courses. Rupees 24 crore has been allocated to promote Ayurveda, homeopathy, and naturopathy. This shows that the government is trying to make healthcare more accessible and affordable. More focus is being placed on serious diseases, infrastructures, and alternative medicine. If these plans are completed, it could save thousands of lives and improve healthcare in rural areas. Now let's talk about the education sector. This year, the government has allocated rupees 2 crore 3 crore for education, science, and technology. Also, 2081 to 2091 BS has been declared as Science and Technology Decade. Here are major plans. Rupees 60 crore will be given as scholarship to students from very poor and marginalized communities. Rupees 8 crore 39 crore is allocated for midday meal program to help improve uh, their attendance and nutrition. Rupees 87 crore will be used to improve learning quality, build leadership, and provide career counseling to students. Rupees 2 crore 50 crore is being built uh, is used for building 1,000 classrooms that are disability friendly, gentle, sensitive, and safe. Rupees 1 crore 59 crore is for building technical schools and colleges in areas where they are most needed. Rupees 21 crore 45 crore will be spent to restructure the University Grant Commission, which helps fund universities. Teacher training boot camps will be held to train 1,500 teachers in early childhood education. This shows a strong effort to make education more inclusive, skill based, and modern. Students from poor families will get help, teachers will be trained, and technical education will be expanded. This could create more capable and confident new generation. Thirdly, youth and sports. This year, rupees 3 crore 50 crore has been allocated for youth and sport. Let's look at the key points. Rupees 60 crore is allocated for organizing the 10th National Games, which will be held in Karnali province. The government plans to increase women participation in sports, organize 80 national level competitions, promote traditional Nepalese sports and esports too. Rupees 1 crore 30 crore is set aside for building and improving sports infrastructure. This includes Mulpani Cricket Stadium in Kathmandu, Grija Prasad Koirala Stadium in Biratnagar, Gautam Buddha Stadium in Faradpur, Fafla Cricket Stadium in Dhangari, and upgrading Kritipur Cricket Stadium. While these are good steps, many people believe that the budget is not enough for such a promising sector. Sports can boost national pride, create jobs, and keep youth engaged. So this sector deserves more attention. To summarize, health sectors aims to make medical care more available and affordable. Education sector focuses on inclusion, skill development, and teacher training. Sports sector, while promising, still needs more support and investment. These sectors are essential for building a healthy, educated, and empowered population, the true foundation of Nepal's future. Now let's talk about some new major announcement. Rupees 29.88 crore has been allocated to expand the East-West Highway, improving connectivity across Nepal. Rupees 1.05 crore will go to Chure Conservation Program and setting up air quality monitoring centers to tackle pollution. Rupees 6 crore is set aside for Prime Minister's employment program to create job opportunities. Rupees 36.81 crore has been allocated for irrigation and water resource development, supporting farmers and agriculture. Rupees 11.91 arba will be used to preserve and promote Nepali culture, from festivals to heritage sites. Social security remains a top focus with rupees 1 kharba 16 arba for allowances to senior citizen, single women and other vulnerable groups. The government also plans capital market reforms, development of commodity market and has declared this year as year of investment in women. Now let's talk about some tax changes and amnesty. To support trade and entrepreneurship, the government has introduced some major tax and digital reforms. First, Nepal plans to sign double tax avoidance agreement with potential countries. This will help avoid being taxed twice on the same income, especially useful for businesses operating internationally. For startups, venture capital, and private equity funds, special tax concessions have been announced to encourage investment and innovation. The export limit without full documentation has been raised from $10,000 to $25,000, making it easier for small exporters to do business globally. And finally, all commercial transactions must now be done electronically or via QR code directly into business account. This aims to increase transparency and promote a digital economy. Businesses that didn't register or pay taxes can now clear their past with reduced fine if you register and file taxes for last 2 years. Interest and penalties will be waived. Now let's discuss income tax changes. The new budget brings some key tax updates and environmental measures. IT companies will now enjoy zero dividend tax on bonus shares, a big win for the growing tech sector. To encourage transparency, cash payments above rupees 25,000 will no longer be considered as expenses for tax purposes. Electronic billing enforcement will be stricter, giving tax officer more power to ensure compliances. Good news, no changes have been made to income tax rates this year. Now to environmental steps. A green tax has been introduced. Rupees 1 per liter on petrol and diesel. Rupees 0.5 per kg on coal, 1% on lubricants and some oils. So, what does this mean for us? Relief for small businesses through tax amnesty, a stronger push for digital payments and formal economy. Fuel prices may rise, impacting transportation and price of goods. And importantly, the green tax supports environmental protection. So now let us understand what is VAT and customs. VAT is a tax levied on added value of goods and services at each stage of production and distribution. It is ultimately paid by the final consumer. Custom duty. Custom duty is a tax imposed on goods when they are imported into or exported out of country. It helps regulate trade and generate government revenue. Now let's look at some key VAT changes in the new budget. The VAT registration threshold has been raised to rupees 30 lakhs for services and mixed transaction. This means many small businesses can now avoid VAT registration, reducing their compliance burden. VAT has been removed on daily essentials like potato, onions, apples, and goat meat, making them more affordable for consumers. However, VAT will be now applied to items like mangoes, charcoal, and even some medical items. Now to custom duties. Duty has been removed on many raw materials to support local industry and promote domestic production. But duties has been increased on electronic vehicles and luxury goods, which might lead to higher prices for those items. In short, it's easier for small businesses to stay out of VAT. Basic food items may become cheaper, electronic vehicles may get costlier, and local industries get some relief on raw material imports. Ice cream now faces a higher duty, jumping from 20% to 30%. Alcohol, tobacco, vapes, and energy drinks are also hit with increased duties. New taxes has been added on laptops, brake fluids, and paper cups. On flip side, safety glasses for vehicles and planes is now exercise duty free. For electric vehicle, a new tire duty structure is in place based on battery power. Under 50 kilowatts, it's 5%. 50 to 100 kilowatts, it's 15%. 100 to 200 kilowatts, it's 20%. 200 to 300 kilowatts, it's 35%. Over 300 kilowatts, it's 50%. So, what does this mean for you? Expect higher prices for ice cream, alcohol, and tobacco products. Electric vehicles will cost more, depending on their battery sizes and kilowatts. Everyday items like laptops, tablets will also see added costs. So now let's discuss some business incentives that's included in this budget. Old and once abandoned industries like Hetauda Textile and Gorkhali Rubber will now be revived under the Public Private Partnership PPP model. This means more jobs, revived local economies, and better use of existing infrastructures. Exporters can now send goods worth up to $25,000 without full documentation. This relaxation will especially help small and medium exporters, making it easier and faster to access global market. To tackle unemployment, businesses that hire more Nepali workers will receive special tax rebates. This encourages companies to invest in local talent rather than relying on foreign labor. Key sectors like information technology, tourism, and industries in special economic zones will enjoy tax holidays and dividend tax exemptions, a move that could attract both domestic and foreign investors. Together, these policies aim to boost industrial growth, increase exports, generate employment, and make Nepal a more attractive destination for investment and business. So, what are its implications? More jobs if old industries reopen, easier for small exporters to grow, businesses that hire Nepali worker benefit more, foreign investment likely to increase in SEZs. So, what does it mean for people like you and me? For students and job seekers, the government has declared the next decade as IT decade. The goal is to export IT services worth rupees 3,000 billion and create 1.5 million jobs over the next 10 years. If you are a business owner, the budget emphasizes digital transformation. There's a push for digital billing, tax compliance, and online payments. Additionally, businesses hiring more Nepali workers may benefit from tax rebates and VAT relief. As a consumer, be prepared for changes. The government has introduced a green tax on products like petroleum to fulfill international commitments to reducing carbon emission. This may lead to increased prices for fuel and luxury items. On a positive note, the budget has waived VAT on transaction of potatoes, onions, apples, and related fruits and vegetables to protect domestic products. This move aims to make local produce more affordable. For environmentalists, the introduction of green tax is a step forward promoting eco-friendly policies and reducing carbon emissions. This budget touches everyone, from students to entrepreneurs, consumers to environmentalists, steering Nepal towards a digital, sustainable, and inclusive future. So that's the complete summary of Nepal's budget of 2081-82. In this budget, there's a big promises, but the real test is how well they are implemented. Thank you for watching. Jai Nepal.